Hello and welcome to the Powerfish Podcast. I'm Ben.
And I'm Fish. And today we are going to be talking about this crazy story that we heard from Ben's friend Josh. Mm-hmm. This is the craziest story that I've ever heard in my life.
I literally started to get shivers when he was telling it.
So it's a supernatural story about this ghost or demon encounter in an abandoned church, and it literally shivers down the spine. The most messed up stuff I've ever heard. We are going to throw you right into that. Hope y'all enjoy.
Let's go! Let's
Yo.
go. What were you 3D printing, bro?
Huh? Oh, some D&D minis.
D&D minis?
Yeah, brother.
What is a D&D? I know like Dungeons and Dragons, but what is a mini?
Like the figurine that you put on the board.
Oh.
Like a dragon or a guy. Yeah.
And you can just 3D print those?
Yeah, I got a 3D printer, brother.
How does that work? Do you just 3D print a character and then you play the character? I don't know. I'm asking things.
D&D is basically like a board game, so I can just build whatever I want. I go into Blender, a 3D model of something, I print it, it's mine. And then I sell it. I also make keychains and stuff, but I mean, kind of lit. They call me a tinkerer, the whimsical guy.
I looked into 3D printers a while back.
Dude, there's so much damn money.
Well, they can be.
They can be, but I have a Bamboo A1 Mini, and it's only like $450 for the entirety of the set, and it's nice.
Which
is like, don't get me wrong, still kind of expensive. PLA plastic.
Okay.
I have a second one that does ABS, which is stronger, but
right.
I have a metal printer, but I kind of don't want to be in the room when I print metal because I'm already breathing in microplastics. Don't want to breathe in anything else besides that.
Bro, that's the new way to get high.
Honestly, dude, vape in the left hand, 3D printer running the right, Siege in front of me. It's just, ooh.
Siege?
Dude.
I mean, just another layer of toxic chemicals entering my bloodstream,
You're talking like Rainbow Six Siege?
Hell yeah,
dude, that's
brother.
the strongest layer of toxic chemicals.
It is. That's what I was saying, bro. But I love it.
Yeah, that's how many you have a ton of hours in Siege, don't you?
It's like 600-ish hours.
Okay, that's
it's nowhere close to Dead by Daylight.
Dude, I was thinking
2000.
like Team Fortress, like what do you have, like 4,000 or 5,000 or something?
Team Fortress, no. On my old account, I had like 500. On my new account, I have 300. So it's still up there.
Okay, I must have been talking to someone else.
Dead by Daylight is 2.5 thousand hours.
Yeah, that's.
But I haven't played
insane.
Dead by Daylight in 8 months, and I don't think I'm ever going to play it ever again.
Hey, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, I've grown up. I've now chosen a different toxic game. Siege.
Yes. seems you just stick to toxic games.
I couldn't get into Siege. I tried playing it for like a week. I couldn't get into it.
It's fun.
Okay. Siege is like, it sucks ass to play, but when you do good, it is like better than sex.
Oh, it's intoxicating, dude.
Like when I get a 4K, I still feel better than when I do drugs. And it's like, it's so bad because I will be like, I want to kill myself, and then I'll dink 3 people. I'm like, oh my god, I'm the best person in the world.
But when I play it, most of the time I'm playing it, it's I want to kill myself.
Yeah, that's why you kind of have to just keep the ball rolling, because even if I take a month break, I come back to it and I just suck ass.
Yeah,
I'm just like,
yeah.
God.
It's hard, dude. It's a freaking hard game.
I mean, when you hold a fucking angle that you can only see a pixel of, and the second they walk through, you dome them. It's just like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
Fun game though.
So when we first brought up this whole ghost crap, it was me. You remember when I was with Maya? What brought it up was when that thing yelled outside my window.
Clip. That was awesome. I still have that audio clip.
Yeah.
I think it's in our DMs.
Yeah, so do I. I still have it. And that sparked a whole debacle. You had this chick friend that was super into demons and crap, right?
Yeah, well, I had a friend who he like had like $1,000 equipment, like the Xbox Live, fucking what is it, LES, light structured camera or whatever, Spirit Box, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
She just got me into it because they were friends, and she was my girlfriend at the time. And I went on some adventures with them. It was an interesting experience every time I went out.
And you didn't drink the Kool-Aid before this, right?
Like, was I high or drunk?
As in, like, you didn't believe in ghosts existing.
Oh, okay. Well, I've always... My thoughts on... I don't know. It's so, like, they could be real. I didn't really care too much. I guess I didn't really think about it too much, so it's just kind of like, Yeah. I've never seen proof of it. Every time I saw, like, a TV show or something, I'm just like, okay, well, I went to theater and engineering school. I that's an editing trick, but, like, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't say I was a super firm believer, really all that much.
Right. I mean, that's how I am. I would describe myself as a skeptic.
Dude, even after this thing yelled outside my window, I'm still not convinced. Dude, we had this conversation like freaking 5 or 6 years ago or whatever the heck it was. I want to go on these like ghost hunts and crap because I want to be convinced. But
I mean, we had that entire episode of the podcast where we talked about those supernatural experiences, and I had my own where I physically saw something. But I mean, even then, I still kind of chalk it up to, it was just some animal or something spooked me. It was dark,
Right.
So I got one that's gonna fuck you up then.
I am excited to hear about it.
Yeah, just start from the beginning. Tell about this story, dude.
So I have a few stories. The one that really fucked me up, it's not the one that we talked about.
Oh,
with
it's
the
not?
tree. It's not.
You told me a couple. One of them was in like some abandoned asylum or some crap. Or a school. Yeah,
that was 2 floors.
Yeah.
And it hadn't been open since like the 50s because
I remember
it got
one.
turned into like an internment camp. But but I'll tell those 2 stories as well. But looking back at them, I can definitely see how it was just like I was just because if you let the fear take over, your brain will definitely just hallucinate some shit. Which, looking back at that tree incident, I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
Really?
I'm pretty sure because at the time
you told
it felt
me that
scary.
Story, you were dead convinced.
I was also 16, so
yeah, okay,
or like 17.
Yeah.
Like,
you're right.
But I had a newer one that, like, listen. I'm like, even when it comes to religion, I'm not exactly like it's just like I know people take drugs, and most of the time I could just chalk it down to like that or alcohol or I don't know, mental illness is a thing like schizophrenia. But I do have an incident that happened 2 years ago that I still cannot like explain at all.
I have not heard this one.
Oh, this will be fun. But I guess to warm it up, I'll tell the little tree story. So I have a friend named David. He is the one who bought like it had to be like $3,000 plus of this ghost equipment.
Jesus.
LA, like he had a light structure camo, which works how the Xbox Kinect does, where it senses heat or energy, and that like makes like a stick figure to kind of project where a human would be.
Right.
And the idea is the ghost should show up. He had a spirit box, all this. He had like incense candles. I don't know. I was just there because I was like, I'm pretty sure these guys are just like hippies and they're gonna get high and we're just gonna be like, oh, it's a ghost. No, this dude was serious. I thought it was on a show. He had camera. It was crazy. He made us put on these vests that were like heart monitors. I'm like, what the fuck?
For yourselves?
Yeah, every one of us had it.
What's the benefit of monitoring your own heart rate?
I don't know, brother.
So when you get scared, I don't know.
Yeah, when I get scared, or I guess if I flatline, I guess if a ghost killing it, I don't know, dude.
Yeah, okay.
Like this guy had more gear than a Phasmophobia game, so
damn,
that's funny. But the story essentially goes is we went to this tree, which a true story did happen. Where, well, I still don't know if it's true. It was like an article back in like the 50s, but it's not in like real like government records, so it could be fake, could be real. there's apparently a little girl who, I forgot if she either got murdered or hung herself on this tree, and like her body was found. It's a tree on like the end of a cliff, and it's like a big, like, California is like a huge mountain area, so it's just on a small mountain, and there's just a singular tree because the rest of it's gone. It's a big ass tree, and we went basically not right underneath the tree, but like 20 feet away, and he put the spirit box out, and he's just like, "Who killed you?" and started doing all this shit, and the spirit box wasn't really doing much, but eventually it did like respond, kind of. If you don't know how a spirit box works, it just like plays a bunch of radio bullshit, and when you say something into it, it's supposed to say a word back. That's like the way the ghost talks to you.
That's the thing that like is basically constant static, right?
Yeah, it's like it's switching between radio frequencies. So like if it wants to speak with you, it puts on a radio station of a guy saying like hello. But
right.
So this could have completely been coincidental, which it might have been, but I was like, "Can you hear me?" Yes. And I was like, "Oh shit." And I was a little freaked out. I was like, "Oh," it didn't respond to anybody else but me. So David's like, "Oh, it's talking to you, bro. Keep talking to it." And I was just like, "Are you here?" It didn't say anything, and I'm just like, "Can you see us?" Yes. And I was like, "Oh, okay." And I was getting a little creeped out at this point.
Wait,
I mean,
what did it sound like? Was it actually like a little girl except deep voiced? Yes.
It was like, it sounded like a radio show host, just like a quick cut in, and it was a different voice every time. It was like, yes, because it's, it's probably just taking like radio waves from some radio station of someone saying like, yes, hello, welcome to my show. But so it was a different voice every time. But
okay,
essentially, I had a kind of, it was like talking to ChatGPT, where like it kind of made sense sometimes, but other times I'd be like, "What killed you?" and it'd be like hot dog. So like, I don't know if like she choked on a hot dog or something, but I was trying to take it seriously because I'm like, if this shit is real, I don't want to piss this bitch off and she follows me home, dude. Like, I don't know about that.
Yeah. Okay.
So eventually, after a little bit of kind of making sense conversations, I just went, "Would you be willing to give me a sign if you existed? Are you like, will you like touch my hand?" I held my hand out. And at that exact moment, the LES camera, or whatever the hell it's called, picked up like a stick figure right behind me. And the stick figure arm touched my hand. And right when he said that happened, my hand felt really cold. And I put those two pieces together. I'm just like, oh shit, she touched my fucking hand. And then I bolted. I ran for like 15 minutes back to the car because there's not like a parking lot up here.
Yeah.
And shit, it was nighttime too. It was like 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah, I mean, you can't be doing that in the day. That's just not cash money.
I'm like, I could have gotten killed by like, I don't know, some crazy hitchhiker or fucking like, I don't know, a mountain lion. But I ran, and he showed me the footage of this stick figure touching my hand, me recoiling, and then bolting it. It was crazy. And I believed that for the longest time, but I don't know.
That seems like a lot of things lining up all at once.
It does, but like I've also seen a lot of things kind of like stack on top of each other. I'm just like, well, that's weird, but it does happen, kind of. The only reason why it's kind of weak is just because it was cold. I'm not saying it's normal for my hand just to feel cold all of a sudden. At the same time that the supposed, structured fucking thing detected a humanoid. In my like, I've used an Xbox Connect. Sometimes it does put a stick figure next to you because it's trying to track you and it just moves you by accident.
Yeah,
maybe that was it. Because I was holding my hand out, it was holding its hand out, so it could have just been me. And then my fear was just like, she's touching you, dude. And then my hand feels like, oh, it must be real. So I don't know.
The
That's
mind
still
is
up in the air.
capable of some insane things for sure.
I'm just saying, I've smoked weed and seen more realistic ghosts. So
gotcha.
I had a whole conversation with like the Snoop Dogg wine bottle like a month ago when we were out. So
what the fuck?
Yeah. So that one is the one that I was like, oh, I'm a ghost believer now.
Yeah, now that's how I remembered it.
Yeah. Now that I'm almost 24, I'm just like, I mean, it was probably just my head. But and we had a few other ones like the school. Nothing really crazy happened there. Just like, some glass shattered. I'm 90% sure that there was just a squatter there, and That's a lot more dangerous than a ghost, in my opinion. But
yes, I'm sure.
This third story, I've told like all my friends, and I had an audio recording. I think I still have it.
For real?
I have it on my Gmail. Yeah, on my Google Drive. I'll find it after I tell the story, but it's quite a doozy. So,
when was this?
This was right before COVID, or no, this was during COVID. This was like early or middle of 2020. So this takes place in Utah. My dad's side of the family lives in Utah. My mom's all over the place, California and stuff. So we visit Utah to visit my grandmother. And my uncle's out there, and he's a pretty big ghost hunting fanatic. He's got some ghost hunting gear, not like $3,000 worth, but he's got a spirit box. He's got, I don't know, one of those blue flashlights that you can see like cum stains or something. The UV light.
The UV light.
Yeah. What a way to describe it.
Dude, no, that's a perfect way because I knew exactly what he was talking about.
Yeah, I was like, I only know that because like I'm in California and there's strip clubs everywhere and they use UV lights all the time.
Yeah. Okay.
But he brought those too. So
I feel like if I bought a spirit box off of like Amazon or something, it would be like rigged to make.
You would just get like advertisements.
Or yeah.
You're just like, oh, I'm here. Ooh, $9 foot long, you know.
Yeah, more like freaking $15. But
in this economy, that's what I'm saying. But Ghost is gonna come to my house. They better be paying fucking rent.
Yeah, no,
bro.
kidding.
You can get a spirit box for $90.
Are you saying that as if that's a good price?
I'm saying that as in, I could get one right now. And I could afford it.
$90.
I probably not
that and afford it. God,
go ghost hunting.
There's nowhere scary where we're at.
You're right. My bad.
Hey, I live in California. It's pretty scary here.
Oh yeah,
got a bunch of homeless people with knives in LA and gas prices, which is scary. But this one. So this was Utah somewhere in December, I don't know, 15th or some shit. It was cold as fuck. It snows a lot. And my uncle, when I got there, he's just like, I heard you were like gotten ghost hunt stuff. I'm like, yeah. He's like, this is an abandoned church that's been closed since the 1800s. If you wanted to check it out. And I'm like, what? Apparently there's some church in the middle of like this. It's like the woods, but it's like maybe a 3-minute drive away from a public road next to a residential neighborhood.
Oh,
so it's not exactly. It's when you live in Utah and you're in an area where there's like a town that only has 800 people, it's still pretty secluded, but it's not that far from like. If I were to pull up on the road, I would be a 5-minute drive away from like a Walgreens. So it's not like middle of the Outlast Asylum, but we showed up and it was one of the creepiest places ever. It's like one of those typical fantasy churches that like half the building has been torn down just from weathering. Like there's a bunch of stone inside. There was a little bit of graffiti, so obviously we weren't the first ones there, but it was creepy. It was a church, so there was like wooden, like the chairs next to a stone pedestal,
like pews.
Yeah, but most of the chairs in like rows were just like completely broken, or just like if I touched it, it would fall over because it was wet and termite-y. So we show up and it's like 10 o'clock. I want you to remember this time. It is exactly. I have the notes because I took notes when this happened. Because I had to save this because this shit fucked me up.
At this point, were you like still in the mindset of being 100% convinced from the forest story?
It was starting to wear off a tiny bit, but my mind was open. I was like, if it's going to exist, it's probably going to be here, at a church that was opened when the witch trials were still going on.
You're going to get jumped by a bunch of ghost Mormons.
Yeah, that's terrifying, especially in Utah. Hell no.
Yeah, dude, that's what I'm saying. That
they're gonna follow me home and be like, "Are you drinking a caffeinated beverage?" And then kill me in my sleep. Yeah, no one wants that. But
so 10 p.m.
10:18 p.m. exactly.
10:18.
Yeah. So it's a small church. Like I can walk from one side to the other at a steady pace in like 20 seconds. It's not that huge. There was a lot of like frozen, not maggots, but termites, because it was like 33 degrees. So it was right above like freezing, but there was snow. Full ass moon, by the way. It was bright. We did not need flashlights. It looked like Alice in Wonderland out there, which made it so much more whimsical. But we're looking around. He has a spirit box and he's just walking on the edges, like looking at the trees, and just like, oh, is anybody here? And I'm going inside the church because like there's no walls. There's like, out of the entirety of this building, like maybe like 1/12 of it had a wall and a roof. The rest was just like, damn. It looked like an Elden Ring like ruin.
Wouldn't you be afraid of the damn thing collapsing?
I would, but there was no roof.
Oh, okay.
So like if the one wall was at the entry and I was at the pedestal, so like the worst thing that was gonna happen was like a raccoon or a bat, but like it was so freezing. Like I think if a raccoon was out here, it would be like dying.
Yeah.
So
gotcha. Okay.
So nothing. So
there's barely any church left.
Yeah, it just looks like an Elden Ring ruins. All the walls go up like 6 feet, but everything past that is just gone.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it's just, you know, so yeah, probably not the safest place to bring somebody, but you know, our epic, late night adventure. Nothing happens for like 30 minutes that we're there. We're just chilling, and at this point, like 20 minutes in, I start pushing stuff around because I'm just like, everything breaks. So let's see if I can break something and, I don't know, discover something. I don't know. Let's do some vandalism.
Yeah.
So I push this pedestal and it's heavy as fuck. And eventually I do that thing where you like kind of wobble it to get it like waddle penguin move. And underneath it is a hatch, a wooden hatch that is chained up.
Oh, what the hell?
And the chain was rusty as hell, but the lock was not. Instantly, I was like, and I called my uncle over. I was like, I just pointed at it, and I was like, I don't know what this is. He's like, oh my goodness gracious, and he just starts looking at it, and he was just like, oh, this is sketchy as fuck. He's like, what if this is like some killer's den? And I'm just like, what killer lives in Utah? So eventually we sat there debating for like 5 minutes, and eventually I was just like, let's go in. The chain lock wasn't locked, it was opened. But so it was like the
chains were rusty, but the lock was not.
The lock looked, it didn't look fresh, but it didn't look as rusted as the others.
Okay.
And it was like, you know, you put a lock, but you don't lock it to like give the illusion that it's locked.
It's just like,
it was kind of like that. It was like barely open. So we take it off and we move these heavy chains to the sides, and I open this creaky ass doors, wooden hatch doors, and there's a metal, like it looked like an industry metal ladder that just went down into like a stone concrete hallway, like maybe like a underground sewer kind of, but there was no water down there. It was just concrete.
Oh, shit, dude.
And it was dark,
dude.
And instantly we were like, okay. In my head, none of us talked that much at this point, but I'm like,
this is just you
like
and your
some
uncle?
homeless guy. Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, what if there's like a homeless squatter or something? Like, it wasn't locked, so they probably just kept it unlocked so they can get back out. Or what if like there's some fuck shit, like we find a body or something down here? That was my biggest fear.
Dude, if I was at this point, this is the point where I would be heavily debating just not going and leaving.
Oh, dude. I was fucked
just
up.
Thinking that, dude.
Yeah,
we were scared.
Like, there's no way in hell I'm going in there.
But he was armed. He did have a pistol with him. He was carrying. So
bro was packing. Got it.
Yeah. So that's why I was just like, if there is some crazy delusional person down here, we can try to talk it out, or I don't know, he gets shot. So
we try to talk it out or shoot him.
I mean, what else am I supposed to do? So I go down there. Well, I don't go first. Hell no. He goes before me, and then I follow. And it is a long hallway, all the way to the left and all the way to the right, maybe 12 feet high, 12 feet like wide. It looked like just a square. Like the concrete was neat. There were some leaves down there and some really old trash, like some like fast food trash that looked like it's been down there for at least a few years. Going all the way to the right, all the way to the left. And we look all the way to the right, and the wall is pretty close. It's like maybe 40 feet away because we have a flashlight. Nothing there. He points the flashlight to the left, and it goes like another 200 and I don't know, 200, 300 feet. It's a long ass hallway.
Jesus.
You said, and you said there was an industrial ladder going down into this area.
Yeah, it's like a metal ladder that goes down just straight under the concrete. There's no furniture. There's no guardrails. There's no. It's just this concrete hallway. Walls are concrete.
Down are we talking?
The ladder went down like maybe like 10-ish feet. It was enough to be a little deep, but not like we were crawling for it. It's very quickly. We can just slide down in like a second.
Gotcha.
So
okay.
Kind of like an attic ladder, not too big, but
yeah. Okay.
When he points the flashlight to the left, it's much longer on the left side, and there's a wooden door at the end of the hallway, and it's an old ass wooden door. Bro. And this is why I start freaking out. I'm like, oh shit, dude, because Stranger Things was out, and I was getting a lot of Stranger Things vibes. We're about to find a Russian base, so we were getting fucked up. So we continue to walk forward, and as we continue to just go, I don't say anything. He doesn't say anything. How I like rationalized it in my head at that current time was like we were both just kind of scared, and we didn't want to talk just in case there was something down here that like we weren't supposed to be down here, or I don't know. So like my mind was rocking with like this is some serial killer's torture den, or there's going to be some like drugged up guy down here, which sucks.
Going to immediately whatever the worst case scenario is.
Exactly. It's like, I'm not thinking about ghosts. So I'm thinking about my life. So yeah, we start walking. None of us are talking. And that's how I rationalized it. We were both just worried, but I'm just following him. And I start like tripping a little bit, and my shoe's untied. And this is like 30 feet before we hit the wooden door. So I'm just like, I whisper, I'm like, give me a second. And I bend down to tie my shoe, and when I look up, he's fucking gone.
Dude, stop!
No freaking way.
Dude, stop! No, he's playing with you. He's got to just be playing with you.
Well,
that's what I would assume.
I have a theory for what I think all of this was, but there's no doors. There is a wooden door that was still 30 feet ahead of him. This hallway was echoey as fuck because it was concrete. There was nothing except a 400-foot concrete hallway. And I look up, and he's gone.
How long were you kneeled down? How long were you bending over for?
Like 6 seconds.
To tie your shoe. That's it.
Yeah.
And you didn't hear him go anywhere?
No footsteps, no nothing. I look up, pitch black. He's gone. I turn on my flashlight. I look all around me. There's only like 2 spots he could be, in front of me or behind me. And he's gone. And I didn't feel like a sense of fear at this point. I sensed like a fear of adrenaline, because I was just like, I have no fucking clue. Like at this point, I thought it was dreaming. Like I was,
Well, I mean, what the hell do you think?
I don't like exactly. I was like, okay, like I couldn't even like. This wasn't a prank. I couldn't fathom what was going on. I'm just like, okay, was he never down here? Well, I guess that could be true. I didn't say anything to him.
If it were me in that situation,
he was holding the flashlight, and now it's pitch. Like I had not a single clue where my mind could connect.
If I were in that situation, not that it's rational, but I would automatically assume that he would have gone through the door, and I just didn't
that was
hear
the
it,
only thing that was possible. Yeah, that's I think that's what I eventually connected to. I'm like, I didn't even hear the door open. This like it didn't even make sense though, because he was a cautious, like he was not a guy to pull pranks. He was like very like ranger type person. Like he's a calm-headed person. And even if he did pull a prank on me, he would have to bolt it to get behind the door and slam it without me noticing.
But I mean, that's the most, even though it's not rational, that's probably the most rational thing to go to in that situation.
And like, I couldn't have time to think about it, because I was just like, my immediate thought was just like, I'm going to run back to the ladder. Because
hell yeah.
Yeah.
My brain just connected to, after all of that, I eventually did connect to like, if this is like a ghost, like what if this is the reason why I started booking it, is because a thought was in my head of, what if that was never my uncle and that was like a ghost? And that was the thing that put me into adrenaline. I was just like, if that's true,
once my mind goes to there, it's all fucking.
No, I was in fight or flight. I had so much adrenaline. So as I was just kind of like looking around and I began to step back, the door started shaking.
The wooden door started shaking?
Yeah, and I fucking booked it. I ran so fucking fast. And the door slammed open, and I heard footsteps running after me. And like maybe not a feminine scream, but it wasn't a masculine scream. I heard someone screaming and chasing me. So instantly I was like, oh shit, there's like a crazy homeless person down here. I don't know where my uncle is, but I'm going to die because the fucking witch from Left 4 Dead 2 is chasing me right now. And like I was not a skinny kid back then. So I was running and hauling ass. And as I run up, I fucking kicked the metal ladder by accident because I was panicking, and I bruised it felt worse, like when you slam a scooter on your shin. I straight up like soccer kicked that shit. And I started climbing as fast as I fucking could, slipped and missed a few of the prongs, getting up to the hatch, which was closed, by the way. I don't know how, because we didn't close it on the way in. And when I get to the top, I hear like a bonfire, and I hear like familiar voices of some of my friends, which doesn't make sense because I'm in Utah and they all live in California. I opened the door, the hatch, and it was like I opened the hatch and then like I came out of the ground like I just kind of like woke up. I was laying on one of like it literally like right when I opened it, it was like a seamless transition from opening this to coming out of the ground as if the whole thing was like a dream. So I was just sitting in the church, like looking around, terrified, and my uncle walks through the church like, "You good?"
Bro.
And I looked at him, I was like, "What the fuck do you mean, am I good?" And I'm like, "Where the fuck were you?" And he was like, he like put his hands up defensively. He was like, "I don't know, brother. You fucking fell asleep." I look at my clock, it's 10:12 p.m.
What? 6 minutes before when you walked in?
Yeah. I have no fucking idea.
What the
but
frig?
I literally looked at him and I'm like, "So you did not go down that hatch?" He's like, "What fucking hatch are you talking about?"
No.
And at this point, I'm like, okay, I probably dreamed it all. It was probably hallucination. So I begin to go to the pedestal and I push it over, and there's a hatch right there.
Stop.
Shit.
Fuck.
And he looks at me. He's like, "How the fuck did you know that was there?" I'm like, at this point, I start like cracking into tears because I don't know what's going on.
No. Dude, when that thing screamed outside my window, I was in adrenaline mode when it happened, but when I recorded it and listened to it back, that's exactly what was happening to me. Dude, I started crying. I literally started crying.
I'm a tough motherfucker, bro. I boxed, all right. I have a firearm. I protect myself, Second Amendment. But like, there was tears coming in my eyes. I wasn't like hyper, like breaking down. I was just like, I had no idea what to think of this. And he instantly started opening the hatch, and it was like the strangest sense of deja vu. And when he was opening the hatch, I'm like, I swear to fucking God, if I see that industry ladder, I'm gonna shit my pants. And he opens it, and there's the fucking ladder and that hallway.
Bro.
And he was like, "You went down here." I was like, "I fucking swear to God, you went down with me."
Have you told your uncle like what you just went through, or quote unquote went through?
At that current time, I didn't say it at that immediate moment, but when he was starting to go down the ladder again, I was like, "Listen, you disappeared and you were down there." And instantly he was just like, you might have just had a crazy dream and it was like a coincidence. Like he was trying to brush it off, and he started going down there, and I was still like crazy, like fucking like not feeling good. So when he started going down there, I'm like, I don't want to be out here in this church alone at fucking 10 o'clock at night. So I fucking followed him down there.
Oh my God.
Oh, Jesus. And the cycle continues.
It was like reliving that same thing the whole time, except I was like probably like a millimeter away from just having a panic attack. We look to the right and in the hallway. He points a flashlight all the way to the left. It's the same fucking hallway, but there is No door there. There is not a door. There was still some fast food trash. Not the exact fast food wrapper that I saw in my vision, but I still think that's fucking weird.
Dude.
And the door's not there. And we sat there. We crawled back out. We didn't get screamed at and chased a second time. But so when we got back out, I was like so fucked. And like the adrenaline started wearing off. And I noticed that my fucking shin was killing me. And then that's when the adrenaline started kicking back in. I'm like, why the hell would my shin be killing me if I kicked the ladder in this supposed dream? Why would my leg be hurting right now when I'm supposedly awake? Unless something fell on my leg, which there's nothing. If something did fall on my leg, it would be shattered because they're like huge breaks that are the size of my torso.
That is actually a thing. Dreams causing your brain to send nerve shit.
Yeah.
In real life, that's actually a thing.
I knew the same thing. And that's why I was like, I don't like, there could not have been a coincidence. But this is the part that still like haunts me to this day. And this one thing I'm about to say is the only reason why I think this story, I don't know, maybe I was sleep deprived. I was jet lagged. We did like an 18-hour drive in which I didn't sleep most of it. That could have probably contributed to it. We went out, like I was exhausted. So a lot of this could have been exhaustion, but also there was some of it that obviously wasn't. And that's because as we were driving back to my grandma's house, had a good week. I was driving all the way back home to California, and I'm looking through my phone, and I look in my audio like voice recording, and there's one in there called TED_1111. That's not iPhone format, by the way. It's like .wav or something like that.
Yeah.
And I click play, and it's an audio recording of me like fat gasping running, and then a metal pole getting hit. Like the same one that I kicked the ladder. Dude. And this is the part that fucks with me. You can hear, you know how I said I heard my friends at the bonfires?
Yeah.
You can fucking hear them in the background. I showed one of my friends that I heard her name was Tiffany. I showed her the audio, and she was fucked up for like a week. I don't know how I would have even gotten that audio. I don't know how, like I did drop my phone in water a week prior.
Appeared.
No, it was on there the whole time. I just didn't notice until a week after it happened. Supposedly, I audio recorded this.
When did it say the recording date was?
That's a good question. Let me check the property of this file. Now, unfortunately, because this was a file that was not supported on Apple, when the iOS updated, all the files corrupted and I had to get a new phone, including the audio file. I still have the audio file, but now it's just static.
Bro.
That one piece of information of that file, and the fact that my leg hurted like a bitch, and the fact that I knew like everything in that hallway before we went down it, you can chalk a lot of it up to imagination or adrenaline or sleep deprivities, but that audio recording just I have no idea how to explain that.
TED_1111.
Yeah, basically TED_1111. I don't know what it means. I did research, and so did he. In which a few months later, we found out that church was a refugee hideout for it was I forgot what it was for, but like there would be people that would go hiding in there. But the last known article about it was there was this is confirmed, by the way. This is a real story. That church got shut down because someone was killed in the church because a priest lured somebody to one of their back rooms and just killed them. And it was in their basement. But it wasn't that hallway. At least I would like to hope to think that it wasn't that hallway, because there wasn't a door down there in, I suppose, what I'm going to call the real world instead of my vision world. But like it could have gotten concreted off. But the church got shut down because it was a Catholic church in Mormon, Utah. So
yeah,
it wasn't going to last all that long. But one of the priests killed somebody back there and like lured him to a room. And my uncle was like, you think that vision, the one that was me, do you think that that was the ghost and he was luring you to the door? And I was like, if you say that one more time, I'm going to beat you to death with a brick. Because that's fucked up. I don't like that.
Dude. Man, dude. So how did this recording turn to just static again? It got corrupted or something?
So if you don't know, I don't know if it's still a thing, but if you put Windows and Apple, they have different core files. So if you try to do a data transfer from an Apple computer to a Windows, all the files will be corrupted and vice versa. Because Apple treats Windows files like viruses because they like to keep their shit to themselves.
Yeah,
I'm guessing that's what it did on my phone because it's not the first time it did it. I still have the audio file. It's in my Google Drive. I'm currently looking for it as we speak. But it's fucking static. But not just static. I might just be like, I don't know. It might be like the fear kicking in, but it feels a bit more than static. It's not just like a straight line. Like there are little divots where like the static does change in frequency a little bit. Not like there's a secret message. I put it through so many audio decoders. I put it through so much shit and nothing ever came of it.
Dude, I really wish you still had that uncorrupted file.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Like I could show some of my friends, but it happened before I could show others. So some of my friends are like, nah, bro, a demon was trying to kill you or do something worse. And other half of my friends are just like, you were definitely just sleep deprived. Like, you know. But like, that's why I'm like, I don't know what to make of it. I could have been sleep deprived. But I swear to God, and I know I showed my friend. She heard the audio. Shit. I mean, what the fuck would you guys make of that?
Dude, I
don't know what to think about. Do you have any information about the church? Is there a history or
other than the Pope murdering or the guy murdering?
We tried, but it like the only thing we knew about it is that it hasn't been in function since like the 1800s, and the last time it was open there was a killing. But like even that, the killing was confirmed, but like when it was operated was not, because I mean the church hasn't been used in at least 100 years. So like most of the stuff we found out was just from like people of the town of just like, hey, yeah, I mean I know that church has been there like ever since my great grandfather lived here. It's just been there being graffitied. So
dude.
Yeah, I was trying to do a quick Google search to see if I can come up with anything. Looks like not a lot of information.
Yeah, and like my uncle looked at it so much. He tried to look up so much, but like,
how did your uncle come across it?
She came across it because it's a known church. I mean, because like if there's a hill where you can see kind of like the rest of the city and people go up there, it's like high schoolers drive up there to, you know, do it in their cars and you get a view of the city. But you can see the church, like the one part that has a tall wall peeking out of the woods. And everybody knows just like, oh, that's where the abandoned church is. But apparently the church he goes to, my uncle, they had a worship meeting up there once. And he saw it in the woods. He's like, yeah, what the hell is that? And the pastor's like, oh, that's not like really old ass, like 100-year, 200, something like that year-old church. And he's like, it hasn't been used in forever. And he's just like, oh, that's creepy. He's like, well, no, it was a church. It's a holy place. And my uncle, being the guy he is, he's like, that'd be a cool place to explore, because he's not really a ghost hunter, but he is like an urban, like, let's go to abandoned places and check it out.
Yeah.
So, and that was like 3 months prior to me visiting. And he hadn't come around to it because he has kids, but he's just like, hey, now's the perfect time. Oh, God, I fucking found it.
Go back to the part where you came out of the hatch in Dreamworld. Your uncle found you. He said you fell asleep?
So, yes, I opened the hatch and I saw like the moon. Like it was like a Dark Souls moon, which I'm pretty sure I hallucinated. And then I like opened I blinked and I was just on the floor laying in the snow. Snug as a bug. And I just got up like next to the thing, which I admit I was sitting there. So I could have fallen asleep for that first part. but that still doesn't fucking explain like how I dreamed that. Or maybe it wasn't a dream. We went down there twice, but like I feel like he would have told me if that happened.
Did your
if
uncle
I got chased?
like not question that you were laying in the snow having fallen asleep?
He told me that. He told me that he apparently, according to his line of events, we got there at like 9:30. So this was like the whole like 10 o'clock thing. We were exploring it for a good like 30 or 40 minutes beforehand. But he said, I walked around, broke a few things. She walked out to the outside. And then he said, I yelled out to him, like, I'm going to take a nap real quick and just get some shut eye. Tell me if you find something. And he was like, okay, I guess. But I never said that.
That's really an odd time and place to be taking a nap.
That's what I'm saying, dude. I never said that to him. Maybe I don't know. And he's like, maybe the ghost was telling me you took a nap. I'm like, what? But like, I don't. Oh, sorry. I pressed play on the audio and I gave me the heebie-jeebies. I'm gonna send it to you guys.
Send that in the chat, dude.
I'm gonna send it. I might be sending a ghost virus with herpes or something to your computer, but
dude, send it.
Play that, and the static is not normal static.
Ted _ okay, let me listen to this. Okay, it sounds like
it kind of does sound like damaged static, but there's something weird about it, dude. I don't know. Because static is just...
that sounds like manufactured static.
Yeah, that doesn't...
It sounds like static.
That doesn't sound right.
Yeah, it doesn't sound... If a file was corrupted...
I feel like it wouldn't be able to play it at all.
No, it wouldn't change... Not that I know that much about audio files and how they can be corrupted, but I don't think it would do that.
Yeah. I do coding and stuff. I've been an audio engineer for like our church, ironically, for a while. But like, I know about audio getting corrupted, and that's not something that happens.
No.
At least on an Apple iPhone, because they have a safety lock where if you try to play a corrupted file, it just doesn't play, and most of the time it deletes itself.
TED_1111. What is that?
I tried looking that up. I've never seen that.
And like we looked at the article, or he sent me snippets of the article. I never opened it myself because he just like sent them to me like through like Geizo screenshots on Discord. But apparently the person who was killed and the person who killed, neither of their names were Ted. Neither of their names started with a T or E or a D.
You're going through all the things that I would have thought of. Like, I'd be looking up everything about this church and trying to find anything relating to 1111 or Ted, anything.
So the closest thing we got was 1111 is like a spiritual number that like is in astrology for like new beginnings, leadership, and spirituality or something like that. It's said to be a message from angels to stay on the right path and embrace opportunities. You know, like 1111, make a wish, people do on like Snapchat.
Yeah.
But like, that's the closest I ever fucking got.
Which, I mean...
I don't think if a demon was, like, leading me down there to assault me, that it would be for new beginnings or leadership or spirituality.
That can't be it.
Do you happen to remember the name of the town that this church was in?
I do. Let me go through our DMs.
Do you have what the recording date was of this?
I want to get to the bottom of this.
When it was recorded?
Yeah.
The recording date was the same day I was there. So let me check.
Oof.
But you only found it a week later?
Yeah, it happened that night. Let me check. File information details. I don't know if this is 2020 or 2021. I still forgot. December 10th. Ooh. This is December 10th, 2019.
So this is pre-COVID.
This is pre-COVID.
This is like a few months before shit started.
This was like
big.
right when COVID started like spreading to other countries.
Yeah.
This was like beginning of COVID, so I was a little off.
December 10th.
Yeah, December 10th, 2019. It was opened by me on December 17th, 2018, and I opened it again on May 15th, 2022, I guess, and today, which is May 4th, 2024. But yeah, it says audio created and recorded December 10th, 2018. At least that's what my Google Drive says. So
again, it doesn't seem like an actual corruption. That seems like if I googled spooky static, I feel like this would be the top search result type thing.
It probably like that's what it sounds like.
Jesus.
I don't know, man. It's creepy.
That is incredible.
So it wasn't in the exact town that we were in, because he lived in a kind of a bigger town of Utah, but it wasn't that far. It was like a 15-minute drive from our actual place we were staying. I think it started with an H. Hang on, I have the Google map open.
What I was wanting to do is I wanted to see if we could figure out where it was. Maybe we could figure out like the name of the place and then
the major city was Logan, Utah, which is kind of a big city in Utah, but it was Logan, like a 15 Utah? Or 20.
Is that north of Salt Lake City?
Yeah, it's north. It's
dude, I almost moved there.
Yeah,
because there's a place. There's a disc golf disc manufacturer called Infinite Discs that is stationed there, and I almost got a job there and moved there because of that. That's crazy. Wow. We'll get into the bottom of this right now, right tonight. It's happening.
Hang on, my uncle's online. Let me just DM him and be like, you got the address?
Get him.
I mean, it doesn't have an address.
Dude, absolutely talk to this dude.
What I was wanting to do is I wanted to see if we could figure out where it was. Maybe we could figure out like the name of the place and then
the major city was Logan, Utah, which is kind of a big city in Utah, but it was Logan, like a 15 Utah? Or 20.
Is that north of Salt Lake City?
Yeah, it's north. It's
dude, I almost moved there.
Yeah,
because there's a place. There's a disc golf disc manufacturer called Infinite Discs that is stationed there, and I almost got a job there and moved there because of that. That's crazy. Wow. We'll get into the bottom of this right now, right tonight. It's happening.
He said, I don't have the exact address of the church because it's the middle of the woods, but I have the address of the retreat that we saw the church from on that hill. And he sent me an address.
Yes. What is it?
We got.
Okay, I will send the address of the church retreat. Oh, fuck, I just sent it to one of my random friends list. Sorry, don't we forget that. Someone just playing Helldivers, he just gets an address in Utah. He's going to be like, what the fuck?
He's going to think it's a ghost. All right.
My fault, pimp. Okay. So he claims
12746 West Foss Valley Road.
He claims that this is where they had a little bit of a church worship on this hill. And if you go and look across the hill, you can see the church, but I can't see anything. I went in the nighttime, so I don't know how far it was from this hill, but this is as close as we can get. You can see how desolate it is. How
this was in the woods, the church was?
It was in a little patch of woods. The little patch was maybe a fourth of a mile long. It wasn't too long. You could walk through it in a few minutes.
So this 12746 West Foss Valley Road, that's where the retreat.
That's where he said he found out about it because he could see it in the distance, like a brick wall sticking out of a little. I guess forest is a little misleading. It's just it's like a park size tree area. But I asked David about it too, because he thinks there's different types of ghosts. A banshee is someone who comes back for vengeance. So he also believes in demons, and he's dead straight believing that there's a demon there, not a ghost. And I'm well, that's not comfortable. He's because a ghost wouldn't lure you to a basement and give you that vision unless it was trying to warn you to fuck off. Which, if I was a ghost head and I was a full believer, that logic would make sense. But I don't think I'm quite there yet. Because if it, let's say,
that's a demon, big jump.
That would make sense.
Yeah,
it's a huge jump, but
assuming
it's not
you believe,
nice to think about.
Yeah, assuming you believe in all of that stuff, then that's the only way it adds up. But it's a freaking big ass leap from where we are now to believing in demons and shit.
It's a very huge leap of just I'm a guy, fucking 18, going to school, to like, or so I was graduated at this point, like basically almost graduated, but it's a huge jump to just like, man, I'm on fucking winter break to like, that's a demon, and it was telling me to get away from it, which like, I don't know. Because he was all like, nah, dude, it was 100% a demon because the demon was already busy with someone else. And he was basically like warning you. He said, if you come down here anymore, I'm going to fucking haunt you. I'm going to kill you. And he was looking at me like he saw it happen with his own eyes. And he wasn't even there. That's how dead set he was like, no, it was a demon or some sort of poltergeist, like warning you to get away from it.
But the thing is, you did want to hurt you. There.
That's what I'm saying.
And nothing happened. There wasn't even a door.
I don't know. Yeah. Just the thought of that is so creepy, though.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy the feeling I got hearing that story. That's
and what makes it worse is I watch a lot of ARGs. Have any of you ever watched the Walton Files?
No.
It's like some FNAF kind of like, not ripoff, but it's like really fucked and dark. Yeah. But there's a scene with like a small concrete like warehouse where it's like a hallway and there's like a corpse bunny robot there, and that hallway looks exactly like the industry like hallway that I saw that night. And apparently it's kind of common to have stuff like that, but I don't know. I can't wrap my head around it. Maybe I don't know.
This is
maybe I'll sleep deprived. Maybe a demon fucking like warned me. But
this is a time where I just wish I had infinite time and money, and I would fly out to California, get your ass, and then we're going up to Utah.
You gonna bring me back?
Fuck yeah, I would, dude.
Bro, he warned me.
I want to see what's down there.
Yeah.
If that's a warning, I ain't going back. I'll be like, hey man, it's not my fault. I'm just here. If anything, I'm here to bring him as a sacrifice or some shit, and I become a warlock or something.
Okay, well,
I would be down to go back, but yeah, if anybody in the comments has a theory,
but yeah, no, that's a good idea actually. Yeah, kind of pull the internet here and see if we can get some theories on this, because I'm out of them. That's something I just can't wrap my head around.
Yeah,
how that could have come about.
All of our no viewers that we have.
Yeah. Hey, I have a podcast that doesn't have that many viewers either.
Hey, dude, let's combine viewerless podcasts and
maybe we'll
have
a
net zero views. What's your podcast name?
Oh, oh God. Well, it's called the Natural 20 Podcast. It's on Spotify. Watch this blow up, and it gets on TikTok. Like, I found the church, and like some guy goes there and like dies or some shit. That'd be awesome, dude.
Stop. I'm telling you,
the found footage is that podcast sent me, bro. I'm here, and then he dies.
This is all a ruse. That's actually my address. I'm just gonna shoot someone if they show up.
Nah, we need GeoGuessr, man.
Yeah, we need to find that man.
We need to find that church, and we're going there. Okay, well, please, if you're going back there, please tell me when you're gonna go.
Oh, dude, I'll fucking FaceTime you, dude.
Please, yes. Discord, call me, whatever. Snapchat, fuck me, whatever it's gotta do. just get me involved. It needs to happen.
If I ever go back, you'll be the first motherfucker I text.
Good, great. All right, amazing.
And probably the last.
Okay, we'll talk soon.